Here.
Mrs. N. Garrett,
Here.
and Ms. Salahuddin.
Here, thank you. So we'll start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll lead everyone. Can we get a flag?
Mr. Murphy has a flag.
Okay. So please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to
and
the
to the republic
for
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice
for all.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Unless there are any changes, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we're moving on to public comment. To clarify for those joining us on the Zoom, this portion of public comment is for items that are not on the agenda. So if you want to speak about graduation, that is going to be further down. Are there any cards on for public comment?
There are several comments, and they would like to address item 6A.
Yeah, so, but there are anything that's not on item 6A?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, there are no items other than that for 6A.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to move on to item 6A on the agenda. First, to open it up for Dr. Deloria. I don't know if she has any comments before we go into public comment on this item.
Yes, I just want to thank the staff for making the virtual comments live. I think there's a number of people, students and parents, who want to comment on graduation, and the fact that they're able to do that live tonight so we can all hear them in person, I think is important. So thanks to the team.
Okay, and so before we get into public comment, I would just like to say, first, thank you for everyone for joining us. This period, navigating through the COVID-19 crisis has been challenging for everyone. And I just want to speak a little bit about intention, that to assume good intentions, and that moving into this decision, or the decision that was made working towards graduation, everyone had the best intentions of the students in mind. I know we may have disagreed with the way it was handled, but the intent was not to cause any additional stress towards the seniors and the seniors' family through this time. And I just want to say that I empathize. I can't truly understand exactly everything that the seniors went through this year of 2020, because I'm not a senior of the class of 2020, but I just want to empathize with all the seniors of 2020, how difficult this year has been. And I know there's been a tremendous sense of loss. And so the last thing that anybody on the board or in the district office wanted to do was to cause additional stress towards the class of 2020 during this time. We were really trying to go into this with the intention of helping, and everybody on the board and everybody in the district office, we're all humans, and humans make mistakes. And so even with the best intention, you can sometimes make a mistake. And so I just want to apologize for any additional stress that we may have caused the class of 2020. That was not our intent. And so we're here to get feedback from everyone and then move forward with the feedback that is made. I also want to say that as a board member, we do not, it is not in our purview. Like, we don't have a role in deciding how graduation is run. That is a superintendent and a principal's job. We're here to work on policy, but they administer how exactly the district office is run and the district sites are run. So normally the board doesn't give feedback to the superintendent in this area. So we just give direction. And when we hired our superintendent, we trust her to make the best decisions for the districts. And I just want to say that I am here to support my superintendent, and I know that she has the best intentions for our district in mind. And I just trying to turn off my notifications and I can't. Sorry about the background noise. But I also just wanted to say a note of our superintendent to thank her for the work that she's doing. And I know that every decision that was made was in the best interest of our seniors. And I'm glad that we have this venue now where we can hear what everyone has to say and then move forward based on that. So in that vein, I'm going to open up public comment and turn it over to Carla.
So we do have several speakers tonight that would like to address item 6A. So just a reminder for the speakers that you are, it's a customary 3 minutes that you wish to speak. I will let you know when you can start. I will call your name. And when you have 1 minute left, I will give you a warning, and then 30 seconds as it comes. And then when it's time's up, I will let you know. So I will start calling the names, and as they come, then when you wish to address, then you can make your comments. Okay, so the first speaker that would like to speak is Isabel Friedman.
Hi, can everyone hear me? I think so. Hi, my name is Isabel Friedman, and I'm a senior at Terra Nova High School. I am lucky enough to have been able to call Terra Nova my home for the last 4 years, and like everyone, was deeply saddened and pretty angry that it had to be cut short. My classmates and I pushed through tough AP classes, long nights for the school newspaper, early mornings for leadership, and many sport practices, working tremendously hard. It would be silly to say that it was all for a diploma, but honestly, one of the reasons I worked so hard was so I could walk down the field with my cords and stand up for honor roll. No one here argues that the loss of an in-person graduation on May 27th is disappointing to say the least. However, personally, I would like to applaud the district for their efforts in creating a virtual graduation ceremony. We can all agree that it won't be the same without our friends there, but a May in-person graduation seems to be out of the question in regards to public health. I considered the thought of having a graduation sometime during the summer, but in reality, there is no definite endpoint to this whole situation. It would be unrealistic, in my opinion, to pick a random date over the summer and assume that things will get better by then. As much as this hurts right now, the idea of having a graduation ceremony get pushed back further and further as the shelter in place gets extended, maybe to the point of never even having any ceremony, is even more heartbreaking than what we're feeling right now. Therefore, I propose that we keep the virtual graduation as it stands, but create a committee at each school or the district to plan an additional in-person graduation ceremony once this is all over and we get the all clear from public health officials. I understand that the district has a lot on their plate and that second graduation ceremonies may be costly. So if this is the case, there are enough students in our district with the opinions and leadership capability to plan this additional event, I believe. Once again, I believe that although the virtual graduation may not be everything we hope for, it's not worth canceling for an in-person graduation that'll just get postponed again and again. I would much rather have 2 graduation ceremonies than a proposed one that never happens or I'm unable to attend because I'm at college. Also, this might already be true, but if the virtual graduation planning doesn't already have student representatives involved, I would like to request that it does. I think we can all see that students want a say in our graduation ceremonies. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. So the next person that would like to comment is Kia San Jose.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Okay. First, I would like to thank the board for giving us the opportunity to voice our opinion regarding the virtual graduation. I understand that this is a tough subject to navigate. My heart goes out to the class of 2020. As a single mom with only one child, this is hard for me as well. I would want nothing in this world but to see him walk that stage and accept that diploma with his peers. With all the adversities we had to face, I need him to have that moment. I want him to realize with hard work and perseverance, he can achieve anything. With that being said, I do, however, fully understand the situation. As a parent, my first priority is the safety of my child. Things are uncertain right now and the whole world is in chaos. I am scared. May I suggest an alternative plan? Instead of a virtual graduation, can we have a virtual acknowledgement video? This consists of speeches from the principal, from the staff, from the district, acknowledging each graduate. We can make a special video for the class of 2020 and we can stream it like the way that we are streaming it right now. When things are safe again, an actual physical graduation can be scheduled. I emailed a detailed plans to our principal last night, and I'm hoping that she will read it. We can utilize the budget for other things like improvement of school programs and other school improvements. The kids are confused, lost, and scared right now. Please don't add to their disappointment. Don't rob them the chance to have hope in an uncertain world. Give them something to look forward to. Their concerns, feelings, and thoughts are valid. They are valid. We need them to believe that. They are our future, and I firmly believe that they will be the strongest generation of all. Thank you for giving me this chance to speak out as a parent and as a friend to the kids.
Thank you, Kia. Next on the list is Madeline Verona.
Hello, can I be heard?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So my name is Madeline Verona. I'm currently a senior at Westmore High School. So today I'm asking that we are able to postpone graduation instead of having a virtual graduation. I already know of many people who would be extremely displeased with a virtual graduation and would not be in attendance solely due to the fact that this is an experience that the senior class would be robbed of. There are many things that I'm sure many of us seniors would never agree on, but we are banding together now to urge the board to postpone graduation. We feel it is extremely unfair that decisions were made without our input and our voice, as the senior class is the most impacted from it. Other factors to consider for a virtual graduation would also be connection errors or someone not having the means necessary to virtually connect. So many of us have been waiting for the moment to walk the stage for years. Many families would also be seeing someone from their family graduate for the first time, and graduation is an important moment for so many in our community. Please do not let this experience be robbed from us, as so many other things already have been. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Rachel Jian.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me as well. But I'm Rachel Jan, also a senior at Westmore High School, and I'm the class president. So first off, I would like to thank everyone here today for making this possible and for giving us a voice when we thought we weren't going to be able to. And I believe I speak on behalf of my school and more importantly, my district, that this is not how we would ideally carry out graduation, which the idea was to do it virtually. And my class started a petition on change.org just to survey how many people would be in opposition of the idea of virtual graduation. And within the first 24 hours, we already got over 2,500 signatures. And within the next 2 days, we got well over 3,000, and it's only increasing from here. So our main concern is to be able to also rightfully represent ourselves by being able to walk the stage for grad, which is an important part of every senior. And it's the rite of passage for every 17-year-old, 18-year-old to cross that stage from childhood into adulthood, signifying the last moments that they are able to spend with their class. So in addition, we weren't really given the choice of whether we wanted a virtual graduation or whether we wanted to postpone graduation. And the lack of representation we had in this matter was really concerning, because if this is how the students are forced to represent themselves by constantly having to take a step forward instead of just being able to be surveyed, then we're not capturing the true demographic of people who need to be represented. So I know, like, I sent an email out to the cabinet. I hope most of you guys read it, but like, many of our events have already been canceled. Senior picnic, prom. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Rachel, just 1 minute, just letting you
Oh,
know.
okay. Sorry.
Thank you. Sorry.
Picnic, prom, all other events. But the main event that we just want to focus on, despite having the cancellation of all these other events, is graduation and the right to walk across the stage in front of all our loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Okay, next speaker is Nadia Minjavar.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
we can. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
No,
Hi,
you're fine.
thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to address the board, and thank you again. And I just really have to commend Dr. Deloria and Megan Carey for all the hard work they've done for the AHL program at home. I mean, that was put together very quickly, and I'll tell you, I really have to commend them. And thank you very much for everything. I just want to say I've heard some of the comments, and my son David is a senior at Terra Nova. He's an honor student. He's taken AP classes. He's played football. He's worked very, very hard to cross that stage. And I understand that. But we live in very uncertain times, unprecedented times. And I am a nurse. I work in San Francisco. Every day I go to work, I'm in the front line of COVID-19. And I'm not saying this to garner sympathy or empathy. It's just what I do. And I understand it. But the thing is this, we may not, who knows who's going to be here in 6 months, 4 months? We don't know. Nobody knows what the path this disease is going. And we're all scared. And I understand that. And I'm grateful that Dr. Deloria gave us this opportunity for a virtual graduation. And it's not perfect. It's not. Nobody expected it. Nobody ever dreamed of this. But we live in times that we can't predict. And honestly, love your loved ones even more than ever. Hug them and be grateful. Be grateful for the opportunity that you're getting. And it's not perfect. It's not what you want. And I hear that. I was a senior too one day, many, many years ago, and got my diploma. I understand that. And it's heartbreaking for all of us. But you guys, whether you do it in an actual ceremony or not, you've done it. You have graduated. You have gotten that degree. It, I know the ceremony is important, but you've done it. It's amazing what you've done, and be so proud of yourselves. And you're going to be going to university, different trades, different things, and that's such an accomplishment. But the times we live in right now, nobody knows. And what about kids who go away to college, to the East Coast, this and that, affording airfare back? What if they can't make it? What if some kids can't make it for that graduation? I
1
understand
minute,
this is a very
Nadia.
difficult time. Thank you, but
No problem.
I'm for the virtual graduation or anything else. The second speaker said I liked her idea of having some kind of I forget what she said, some kind of video or something. That was a great idea. So thank you again for everything, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Nadia. Next speaker is Belinda Tam.
Oh, sorry. Hi, sorry.
You're fine. We
Sorry.
can hear you.
Okay, sorry, it took a while.
It's okay.
Well, I think like for graduation, I get the situation and I wish I was there in person, but it's a difficult situation to say right now. So I'm a senior at Oceana and I wish I can be there with my classmates, but now like with the situation, it's hard to know. But that's what I think right now.
Thank you, Belinda. Next speaker is Ala Hamad.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. We can.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, my name is Iman, and I am Ala's mom. Ala is my youngest, the youngest of 4 kids. 3 of my other kids actually graduated all from Westmore High School. And I'm pretty emotional. I understand that given the situation right now and that we all care about a kid's safety, but I just want to put in my 2 cents. And Ala has seen all 3 of her siblings walk across the stage. She's witnessed her siblings go to prom. She's witnessed her siblings have the activities of what it means to be a senior. So it was heartbreaking enough that Ala could not go to prom. It was heartbreaking enough that Ala could not attend a senior picnic. It was heartbreaking enough that Ala, who was very involved in school, 4 years of soccer, part of the leadership program, part of the making that she's the part of the yearbook editor, to the yearbook editor, that she can't even get her friends to sign her yearbook. So I understand the situation that we're in, but Ala, we've sat down and we've spoken, and Ala is not for the virtual graduation. Ala would like to be able to graduate on stage, have her family support her and watch her walk across the stage, just like her other siblings, just like my other kids did. So I apologize if my voice is a little shaky, because it's heartbreaking. It's sad not to be able to watch my last child walk across the stage. And it's sad to have to explain to her the situation. And I understand that she understands that what's going on, but if we're able to push the graduation a little further down, and I understand that it may not be June, it may be in July. And I think that you would have plenty of parents and plenty of the kids volunteer to put that together. So I have no problem getting, volunteering to put up the stage, whatever it may be, that at least this way that we have our kids walk across the stage, because they rite of passage. So that's what I have to say. So I appreciate that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for speaking. Next speaker is Karen Crow.
Hi there, my name is Karen Crow. I'm online with my husband, Javier Sanchez. We are the parents of a senior at Terra Nova High School. Thanks to everyone for this forum to share our ideas. We want to honor the hard work of our seniors, which is so important to all of us. But we also recognize that we live in uncertain times and unprecedented times. And so we have to, of course, maintain social distancing and the safety of our community. But we would like to propose an alternative that is not mutually exclusive with either a virtual graduation or a delayed graduation. Whatever the superintendent and the students and the principals come together and decide, we are happy to participate. But in addition to propose, at Terra Nova High School, and the other high schools in the district can do the same thing if they choose, to hold a senior parade in which the seniors on the day of the proposed graduation, and in our case for Terra Nova, May 27th, would be able to take part, get into their cars with their families, dress up, wear their leis, wear some ribbons, denoting all of their accomplishments, drive through the parking lot of Terra Nova under a balloon arch, in a one-way direction, drive out the other end, and go home to their families and have a celebration with their family. It seems to me that this is consistent with social distancing. I would propose a 2-hour period, maybe after the virtual graduation or not, but something on May 27th, we could still have a live graduation later. But I envision a parade where the vehicles keep a car length distance between them. There would be very, minimal, if not zero, risk of disease transmission. Anyone can participate. They can go in any order. People can drive through as many times as they want.
1 minute?
As long as we maintain one direction. And in this way, I feel like students could participate in something bigger than themselves and be part of something where they could see their peers, but they wouldn't come into contact with them. I know our principal has raised some concerns that, you know, one, people shouldn't leave their house unless it's essential, and two, they shouldn't go further than 5 miles. But I'd like to point out that this event could be completely voluntary. Anyone who
30
doesn't
seconds.
feel comfortable doing it wouldn't have to do it. Anyone who wants to could. And I think this could be a very simple, inexpensive way to honor our seniors and have them have some satisfaction on their intended graduation date that has little to no risk of spreading the virus, yet still maintain some semblance of, you know, honoring this, this rite of passage. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Next speaker is Kim Webb.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I also have a senior at Terra Nova, and I think all the ideas are great. And I just wanted to voice that. If there is some way that they could have a stage walk, I was thinking perhaps the first weekend of August, that in addition to the virtual and the parade would be really good. And that's about all I had to say.
Okay, next speaker, Carla.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had it on mute. Next speaker is Kaylin Gaputz.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, cool. Hi, my name is Kaylin Gapuz, and I'm the Associative Student Body President of Jefferson High School. So what I believe most students want is to understand and to see that other options are being considered instead of immediately making grads virtual. I do think that virtual graduations could be an option, but I know that many students are unhappy about this option, and personally, solely having a virtual graduation at the original dates realistically might feel like a joke to many of them and might just be even more heartbreaking for graduates. We know that our administrations and Dr. Deloria are being bombarded with at-home learning plans and other concerns, and we thank them for all their work and for continuing our education on such short notice. Don't get me wrong, I'm also terrified, and I have relatives who are immunocompromised, and we understand that this virus is a huge health concern and the world in general doesn't know when all this will end, but we are willing to wait until at least the end of summer, if not longer. If our administrations are too busy to plan out ceremonies, most school sites have students willing to help plan out the ceremonies. We also have the support of our teachers, families, and as mentioned before, the petition circling around that has amassed over 3,400 signatures. We've worked so hard, and our families have worked even harder to support us enough to even get to this point, since many of us come from immigrant families. I just think with everything that's been canceled and all these events we've prepared our entire high school careers, if not longer, for, graduation is this staple event signifying our transition from childhood to adulthood. And even if there's the smallest chance we can have it in person, we would like to. Not everyone will go to college and have the chance to have another graduation in the future. With the way school abruptly ended, it really hurts to think that we won't have this last final time to see each other and celebrate. And though many people have voiced their support and concern for us, it really feels like at this time, the only people that truly understand how we feel are other graduates. A lot of students are struggling mentally and emotionally and feel really hopeless about this whole situation. Every other graduating class before us hasn't really felt this widespread feeling of loss, and many classes after us are not as scared that their senior year will be impacted. And again, we have student leaders and volunteers, myself included, that are willing to work with principals and superintendents to see what we can do when it's safer to do so according to public health officials. I think really we want to feel that we, the graduates ourselves, did everything in our power as well to save our senior year. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kaylin. Next speaker is Antoinette Flores.
Hi, good evening. My son attends Jefferson High School, and I'm actually in favor of a virtual graduation based on the current situation. And I feel that a postponement may not even be practical because we don't even know how long this crisis will be over, as Nadia suggested, and it can even be pushed as far as getting into their college semester. What I'd like to suggest is maybe something a little bit, maybe to schedule students to dress up in their gown and walking on stage and be able to make a speech if they're like the valedictorian or class president, and to receive their diploma, but do this in such a way where there's only limited people like in the auditorium, and then to be able to video that and then share it, I don't know, towards the whole group. What I was thinking, just to maintain the social distancing, is that, you know, allowing maybe scheduled appointments for students to come in. So I'm hearing a common theme here. I know it's important for kids to be able to walk on stage and to receive a document, the diploma that they've worked really hard on. So I think just being able to experience that, even though it's not really a live audience per se, can have some perception of like some pseudo graduation where they kind of can walk on stage, receive a diploma from the principal, and you know, they don't have to shake hands. And then the audience would probably be like 2 or 3 people. So you're still maintaining your social distancing of, you know, 3 to 5 in that area. So that's about it. I know my son expressed that those are kind of the key things that are important to him, is to be able to speak to his class and to be able to walk on stage and receive a diploma on hand. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoinette. Next speaker, we have Mia Blank.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Carla and the board and the entire Jefferson Union High School staff. First off, I want to thank you again for the constant and persistent communication that we've been receiving via the phone calls. It's been very helpful. So thank you for that. I have a daughter who is a senior at Oceana. She is the prom commissioner, but she's been working on that for a year. Oceana offers senior exhibition. So all the seniors have been working on that for a year. And all these other things that all the children at the rest of the high schools are not able to do is extremely disappointing. But we are in very difficult, unprecedented times, as we all are quite well aware at this point. So I'm going to build on something that Antoinette Flores said, and that's considering an alternative setup for graduations, pushing the date out slightly, maybe July or early August at the latest, and maybe breaking the graduating class into 2 or 3 graduating ceremonies so that the children can still sit in front of, in the center of the auditorium at Oceana with the proper distance apart and in a smaller group with either their just immediate families in the room, or maybe it's just the students and the staff in the room, but give them the opportunity to walk across the stage. I think that is the quintessential point of graduation, is actually walking across the stage. Again, it's the theme that's going through. So I just wanted to, like I said, build on Antoinette's idea of having a smaller audience with the proper distance in between to still recognize these children that have done so much over these 4 years. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say. So I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments, Mia. Next speaker is Eileen Akala.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, so my name is Eileen Akala. My daughter is a senior at Terra Nova High School. Basically, after talking to her, she's like extremely heartbroken. She would rather have the graduation postponed so she can actually walk on stage. Earlier this year in January, her dad passed away. So she wanted, they've always had this thing where, he was like, they planned on her graduating, seeing her walk on stage and all this stuff. And when he passed earlier this year, um, you know, uh, she was more determined to do so. Um, I mean, I'm only speaking on behalf of my daughter because I know how she's feeling, but I'm pretty sure a lot of other kids who have worked hard these last 4 years in high school would want the same thing. I mean, it's just a rite of passage, and I feel that doing a virtual one isn't. Um, it's not going to. For them. It's not real. Like, knowing how kids are, it's like, they have to physically feel it and be in it in order for them to know that it's really happening. And so, you know, it's like in our opinion, if we were asked, we would rather have it postponed. She doesn't leave for Hawaii until, late August anyway. So if we can postpone it, you know, even up until August, she's more than happy to wait, to do the ceremony then, if, considering what's going on, if everything is okay at that time. And even if it were to be okay and we postpone it till that time, even limiting the amount of people that are allowed to go and watch and still keep them at a distance, I think would be a good thing as well. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Next speaker is Denise Manaz.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Denise.
Hello?
Hi, Denise.
Okay, fantastic. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Hi. So I just want to thank the board for allowing myself and other parents and students to express our thoughts. And a Terra Nova senior is my youngest son. My son has watched his older brother and his two cousins graduate from Terra Nova, go to proms, go to grad night. And he and his friends have been looking forward to this year because there's so many milestones that they look forward to, and realizing the situation we're in, this is out of our control, but these things have been taken away from them now. And it breaks my heart that they're missing these. It's been a challenge, that he and his friends are struggling with this. So I'm in agreement with a few of the ideas that have been brought up. I like the idea of delaying, the idea of splitting it into smaller groups, and perhaps limitations to the audience with immediate family only. There, why not have it in the football field where we don't normally do this and spread everybody out? I just think that we'd be remiss if we didn't allow our students to have just, these kids, they're going to be known as the class of 2020. They got erased. They have nothing. So I really hope that we could find the right solution where they're able to celebrate with their friends and be able to walk the stage and make that transition.
Okay, thank you so much, Denise, for your comments. Next speaker is Sandra Edelstein.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I am a mother of a senior that goes to Terra Nova as well. And I am for a graduation at a later date as long as we are approved to do so by the powers that be. Right now, everyone is losing sleep probably and just every day wondering, do I have it? And these teenagers that don't verbalize very much about how they're feeling. If us adults are feeling this, I can imagine what they're feeling, also being separated from their friends and social network. And while the graduation piece and receiving your diploma is, of course, something they work towards their whole life, it's also the ceremony of it and the being able to celebrate your friend who walks across the stage also, and just the experience of it is what would be terribly missed if this went virtual. Now, if things don't get cleared up and virtual is all we have, then it's better than nothing. But I definitely think Plan A should be August or late July, us doing either smaller batch graduations or a large batch graduation with us all spread apart more across the football field. And then Plan B is to do it virtually if that is our only option. But I think I would hope that the school district listens to our pleas and at least attempts to schedule a in-person graduation sometime late summer. And thank you in advance to any faculty or staff that would work during the summer to help facilitate that, because I know they are supposed to be off, which is one of the big factors. I also work for a educational institution, so I understand on both ends. But as a senior parent, I've been looking forward to this also for the last decade. So
One
yeah,
minute.
that's it. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra. And lastly, we have Sylvia Flores.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having this meeting. First and foremost, I just want to, just express my opinion towards my daughter. She's at Jefferson High School, and she's been working really hard to see this date, right? She's been on top of the assignments that need to be turned in order for her to be able to graduate on time. And I know that this is something that's beyond everyone's control. But I think that the same way you had the parents be involved throughout these 4 years of their high school years, I think it's a good opportunity to bring together and see how the parents can get involved and be a part of this to make this happen for them at a later date. I think that this decision that you guys made to have it through Zoom versus having it in person, that could spin. I think it's a decision that I know that it's based on everybody's health and everybody's safety, and that's fine. But I think that the alternative should be that this should have been a decision based on with the parents as well and the students, right? Not a decision that only you guys should be taking. And obviously, it can be if the time is right, we can postpone it for a later date and see how family members or parents can come together and have the children have this experience. Like, they've worked really, really hard to have this. And like the previous person that made a comment, a lot of our students are, they're the first time or the first generation being graduating on stage. And a lot of them are not going to have the opportunity to go to college or have that experience again. So taking this away from them during these difficult times is something really hard, and I think that you guys should reconsider and try to make it at a different a date, and have the parents be involved and see how we can help with the planning and stuff. So I thank you again for the opportunity to speak, and I hope you guys would consider to postpone the graduation at a different date and not through Zoom.
Thank you, Sylvia. We have one last speaker, Ananda Lau.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Amanda. I'm Ananda, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'd just like to say, like, first, thank you for like listening and taking the time to like just like have people from different schools share out their thoughts. And I just first like to say that I'm a senior at Westmore, and this personally like hit me like harder than I thought, because I didn't know that March 13th was gonna be my last day being like the people I go to school with, and I just treated it as a normal day and like went to class. But I want to be able to properly say my blessings to all the rest of my peers, and I don't think I could do that through a virtual graduation. Um, and I do agree that the graduation parade could be a good idea, but not in place of a graduation. I feel that we can do that um, in hopes that we can still have a postponed graduation, and that could be a temporary one for people who can't make it to a future graduation. I'd like to say also that a lot of the sports that we've played for 4 years as seniors, a lot of us have missed out on senior nights and award dinners, and I feel that we would truly appreciate each other's presence and like our contributions to the school in person, whether that be in a few months or like in like a few like whenever things clear up. And I just think that these ideas coming from different schools, I feel that if different schools come up with different solutions, then that should be fine. Because I feel like for the graduation parade, at least for Westmore, it'd be extremely difficult because we're on like a hill and like around busy streets. And I think that if Terra Nova thinks that they can do that, then that's perfect for them. But I feel like each school, we could have a catered out plan through the student body, and that we can work together to come up with something. But however, I do feel that whatever we do come up with, whether it be a virtual graduation or a graduation parade, that it's not in replacement of a real graduation, but just as a temporary acknowledgement in the moment. And
Amanda.
What? Sorry.
Sorry, you have 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah, I'd just like to say that since we're so like in question about what's going to happen in the future, especially with the virus, I think that we do need a temporary low budget graduation just in case we can't have one in the future. But I do hope that we can still plan for one in the future, and that we still consider that, because we've worked so hard, and I'm not trying to like have like a pity party, but I just think that we deserve to properly send each other off and acknowledge what we've contributed to the school. So thank you. Thank you so much for listening again.
Thank you, Amanda. We really appreciate it. I believe there are no more speakers.
Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and close public comment for this portion of the meeting and open it up to our school board members. There's so many that I can't see you. So if you want to put in the chat that you would like to speak, and then I can call on you that way, that would be great. No, I don't have any comments.
You meant student trustees as well, right?
Yeah.
All trustees, okay.
Calling on Trustee Garrett.
I just would like to get, I guess, a rundown of what a virtual graduation would entail, because I feel like I don't, we didn't get too much details on basically what the whole virtual graduation would be like. So maybe we can get more details about that and, you know, at least have some more information on it.
Did you want me to say something now, or did you mean at a later date?
No, just now, it's fine.
So first of all, I want to thank everybody who took time to submit a digital blue card and provide feedback. I can't imagine the sadness for parents. I'm a mom of 3, so I can't imagine having missed any of my kids' graduations. But I was also involved in my senior year, and I can't imagine when I hear the list of activities that students haven't been able to participate in, it's hard for me not to cry. It's just so sad. So that being said, there's no decision that's been made at this point. Just want everybody to know that with the board's direction, we have a survey. We think it would be good for all the seniors and all the parents to weigh in. And I think it might be an opportunity to hear some other great ideas as well. But in terms of the virtual graduation, it's a combination of a live show and pre-recorded segments. And then there's a link that's shared with the community. Anybody can watch it while it's live. And so those parts that can be videotaped ahead of time, like student speeches, the things like that, that can happen ahead of time and be curated. And students, the option that I would have recommended would have been the one where each student had 10 seconds on a video wearing their graduation gear to shout outs to their friends and families and thank yous and things like that. But then there's also the live part where you're calling out the student names. So it would be like Terry Deloria, and then Terry Deloria's clip comes up. There could also be some live portions, the principal, of course, and it can be tailored to how a school wants to do it. So the benefit, I guess the benefit for all of this is it could happen and everybody could be included. I do like the idea of scheduling an alternative situation where students can come together and say goodbye. I needed to hear that tonight. I wrote it down. There was a student, I think it was Amanda, who said March 13th came and went and she thought it was like any other day. And that really, if she had known, she would have been busy saying goodbye to everybody. And so she hasn't had a chance to say goodbye. So that really hit home with me. That was something I hadn't thought about. Anyway, so does that help explain it a little bit?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, Trustee Ojapinti.
Yeah, thank you. First off, thank you for everybody who stepped up for public comment, and not just today, but obviously for sharing those thoughts and opinions with, with your family, your friends, your peers, with the community, and those who stepped up with the petition. I just want to, just to echo, I guess, what everybody else is saying, we're all looking for the same thing, and that's to create a proper celebration, proper send-off for our seniors and for all the families in the community. And a couple of things come to mind. I think all suggestions are good suggestions at this point. These are unprecedented times, and we need leadership and creativity from everybody to figure out what the next step is. Just without putting too much of my ideas out there, I think that all the ideas I've heard are pretty good. That different students are receptive to different ideas, different families, just reflects too that we should differentiate how we're approaching this, keeping our options open. But I do think that being mindful of access and input, not everybody's gonna have access to online resources. We know this from our approach to distance learning, not just here, but nationwide, right? So if we're thinking about access and keeping this timely, keeping all our options open is one thing. The other thing too is cost. I know a couple people mentioned creating a low budget approach to doing a virtual ceremony, which I'm in favor of. I saw the budget for the virtual graduation and I had questions about that. It sounds great, but like all things, we're not, the district with unlimited resources. So keeping that in mind, I think we should have more input in planning on both, whatever we choose to do. I'm in favor of in-person graduation. As unfeasible as it may seem in the near future, I'm all for postponing it, and would love to hear more ideas and feedback as we develop a plan and before we do anything further in terms of finalizing contracts and whatnot.
Trustee Lojano?
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
I think it's safe to say that most people would want an in-person graduation, and I at first was also pretty like bummed out about not having an in-person graduation. But I think the reality of this situation is even if we postpone the graduation to August, we don't know if the virus will actually be gone by then. And I think right now I'm just grateful that we have the technology to have a virtual graduation as a graduation at all. And people have told me to also try to plan both virtual and an in-person graduation later, because even if we can't have it for sure later, we still had the virtual one. And for the people who want to have an in-person one and wait, they can go to that one. But again, if it's not certain when we can have it, I think the virtual graduation is still a pretty good idea. I think in regards to how seniors are reacting, I think it's important to realize that all of our hard work isn't just gone because we don't have a traditional graduation. Like, we're still being recognized, it's just in a different way. And so, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Next, Trustee Nathan.
Okay, hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So I am very much for postponing the graduation, but I also do really like the idea of having a virtual graduation because having something is better than nothing. And I do really appreciate like how you guys are going to do this virtual graduation. Like, you guys took so much time out of your day to even think about it, and like the budget you guys are putting in is like amazing. Like it's like awesome. But I personally would love to walk the stage in the future, and I understand that it might be like in August and it might be like not even happening because we don't know what's gonna happen. But I do think we should have like both scenarios where we have the virtual and the postponement, just in case we can't actually have a real graduation where we're able to walk the stage.
Okay, thank you so much. Trustee Hua.
Hi, so I have a similar idea to Teresa. I do think that it's good to have a virtual graduation because, you know, what if this whole quarantine thing doesn't end until after August? So I feel like we should have both a virtual graduation and a normal traditional one, so that just in case that the traditional one doesn't work, we can still have that virtual graduation. And that way, you know, the seniors and parents could be satisfied, and we can, yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Thank you so much. Trustee Lee.
Thank you. You know, I'm a parent of a graduate from this district, two graduates from this district, but one who's also graduating from college this spring, and she will not most likely have a graduation, you know, from UC San Diego. So I understand and feel the pain of the parents who have shared and the pain of you students who are seniors. Completely understand. So I'm personally a little bit torn, you know, from the standpoint of I like the idea of the virtual, and I think as Ms. Nathan and Ms. Hua and Ms. Lojano have shared, you know, with the wisdom with your wisdom, actually, that it is at least something. I am also in favor of kind of doing a double type of thing, because you guys have lost so much that having 2 graduations to me just seems to be the right thing to do. My son is attending San Diego State, and their graduations are supposed to be occurring in May, and that university has actually postponed theirs till December to make sure that they're free and clear, hopefully, of any issues related to a summertime type of postponement. I'm just throwing it out there as one idea, and maybe it's something that goes on the survey if that's what we're doing. And the other thing is, the fact is, with a virtual graduation, you do get something. I did see the thing about that every student would have that to take away, to keep for themselves. And Dr. Gloria, when you mentioned the 10 seconds that each graduate would have, I think that could actually be highly creative, even for knowing the creativity of our students. They could do something pretty fun. So, let's see if we can find a way to do both. That's where I stand with it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Tejada.
Hi, everyone. First, I want to thank Dr. Deloria and Mr. Meyer and Ms. Baca and everyone who helped put this together so that we could have meaningful public comment. And it was very meaningful. I was so gratified to hear everyone's opinions, their heartfelt, heartfelt thoughts. I also have a senior in college, and he's not going to be graduating on stage. And I do remember how proud I was to be able to hand him his diploma when he graduated from Westmore. So, and it was such a huge moment for all of us. And I feel for these seniors. Like Amanda said, March 13th was like any other day. And then it just kept, everything just kept pushing back, and now they're all going to be going their separate ways possibly. So I like the idea of a virtual graduation, because then it's something. But I also, for the sake of these seniors and their families, for many, many reasons, just not only is it a rite of passage, but like someone said, a parent said, walking the stage makes it real. And then these students will be able to celebrate this momentous occasion with each other. But so if we postpone an in-person graduation, it won't be, Governor Newsom saying he doesn't anticipate, sports to be played in any stadiums in September. So we're ahead of, we're ahead of the curve here on shelter in place, and hopefully, we can be able to assemble, but we really don't know what the future holds. But what is very certain here is what the students and families are feeling. They know that this is a crisis, but they also want what their students want, and that's to walk on stage. And Dr. Deloria, for the virtual, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the virtual graduation, it will be recorded, correct? And then it's something that everyone can have.
So anyone can record it, anyone can access it and record it. And I just want to correct, there is no cost for the virtual because the county's going to pay for that.
Right.
And I wonder if there is a way, since the students are going to get 10 seconds and the producer is going to videotape that, I wonder if there's a way to organize that so students actually could cross a stage and shake the principal's hand. Just a thought.
Oh, okay. So I'm looking forward to, if we have a survey, we'll get more opinions that way, but it is hopeful for me that so many parts of the community are willing to put something together, work together to come up with a resolution everyone will be happy with.
Thank you, Trustee Tejada. Are there any other comments from any of the school board trustees? No? Okay, so I just want to say first that I am so thankful for everyone that took the time to participate in the Zoom meeting and to hear all the feedback and comments from our JUHSD community. I also became aware of the online petition early on and have been reading a lot of those comments as well too. I'm a huge, I love civics and I love public engagement. So I'm very proud of the Westmore students for pulling that together. It's tough when it's directed at you, but I am very proud of the work that the students did in order to elevate this issue. And so it got us here to this moment today. I also want to piggyback off of Trustee Tejada's comments. As school board members and as well our superintendent as in her role in superintendent, we have been involved in a lot of the meetings at the county and state level with our health officials who have been giving us information that sometimes isn't privy to the public at large. But this governor has been hinting at things and we can look at the trend. And so the sports teams and the sports organizations were the first events to be canceled, right? So even before we were at home and went to at-home learning, they canceled March Madness, they canceled the start of the baseball. And so the governor has already said in a recent news conference that this is public information, that no sports leagues will be starting or allowed to have events through September. So that's a good heads up for us to let us know that no one will probably be allowed to have a large activity, even with social distancing measures, until sometime in October. So that's something to take into consideration, that if we do something, it probably the closest we'd be able to get to a regular traditional graduation would be past October. So there have been a lot of other ideas of how to do an event or a graduation that would fall in within the guidelines. And so I'm glad that we had this forum to hear those ideas. And, and again, as board members, we hire a superintendent and the superintendent is charged with the organization. That is not really something that we're purview to. We're more of the policy. So we've set the policy that there should be a graduation and it should happen within a certain parameter, but it's her responsibility to carry that through. And so I'm glad that she was willing to have this meeting today and she's heard all of these comments, and she's already talked about the possibility of a survey. My direction is just working through these, the comments and the feedback that we've gotten, and talking to the principals to see how we can do some sort of hybrid so that we can have some sort of ceremony to capture as many students as possible, and then maybe look at doing something at a later date. And for those that can participate, that can, but I know October may be hard for everybody to participate. So I don't want to keep pushing it back and pushing something back, pushing it back and pushing it back to where we end up losing students because they've left or traveled, not just to college, but some students may go just move or something like that. So I want to do something so we capture as many students as possible, and then, look at potentially something else if that is something that fits within the workspace of both of our superintendent and our principals, because it has been extremely challenging for all of our administration to constantly have to deal with the changes that is happening. And so I just want to make sure that I'm not putting overloading their plates in terms of capacity. So I'm very happy to hear that a lot of people have offered to volunteer and help out. And I'm hoping that, our community has always stepped up for us and helped us when we're overstretched. So I'm hoping that, that continues and it wouldn't fall entirely on the principal's lap, that there would be a lot of community help with moving forward with some sort of celebration after all of this is over, because really I'm looking to celebrate after all of this is over. This has been an extremely challenging time for everybody. And I just think it would be nice to have some sort of celebrations to look forward to. Personally, graduations, being a board member can be challenging, and graduations are the things that keep me going. You know, being able to be on stage and hand a diploma to students and hear their stories, and it really, I think back on the hard moments. I think back on some of the stories of some of our seniors that have worked so hard and have made it to this point. And I would like to be able to have that to look forward to. And another thing that really stood out for me is the year I graduated as a senior, we had 24 members who were members of the Japanese internment camp. So when they were seniors in high school, they couldn't graduate from Monterey High because they were in internment. And so when I graduated, they opened it up and allowed people who weren't allowed to graduate from Monterey High to come to my graduation in '94, and 24 people came. Many of them were grandparents. And so that's how much senior graduation means. Like, they came from all over the country just to have that opportunity to walk across the stage with us. And I still remember one of the ladies walking across the stage and hearing their granddaughter yell, "Way to go, grandma." Like that chokes me up now, like when I heard that happen. So, you know, I understand the importance of just that moment. And so anything that we can do to help facilitate those moments for our class of 2020, you know, that's what I want to do. So I'm going to open up Dr. Deloria. I didn't know if you have any more other comments before we close this part of the meeting.
Well, just thank you to everybody again. And I just want to say, if we end up going, and of course, I am in favor of doing a survey. I'd like to hear from every senior and from all their parents. But if they will it to have two, I will personally supervise at one of those later date. Who knows how far out it's going to be, but if for no other reason, just so the students can come together and say goodbye. I think that's the comment tonight that has really been sitting with me. So thank you to everybody.
Okay, so if there are no other comments from any of our members of the board, I am going to ask for a motion to agendize, to close this part of the meeting.
Move to close this portion, move to close open session.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so, and the direction is there's going to be a survey coming. So as soon as we have more information for the folks on the line, as you know, the district has been really good about pushing out information. So the information on the survey and other stuff should be coming out shortly. And thank you all for participating. So have a good night.